From the title, you probably know what's the problem that I faced a month ago. So basically, I wake up at 7:30 every single day. Unlike most billionaire or millionaire, they wake up at 3, even 4 and start grinding out. I'm just not that kind of person. I tried once, I woke up at 5:30 and straight away I was so tired and a bit of lazy, I slept all the way to 10 a.m. So it's maybe a negative productivity for me. So I decided to push it back earlier until 7:30, which I myself can afford waking up and being productive. I do my morning routine, but there's an obstacle that really stood on my way. It's breakfast. Like if you're in Asian culture, if you have the habit of breakfast, you know how hard is it to actually take breakfast out of your equation and how tempting it is when my mom's cooking is very good. And that's really my problem. I wanted to be productive, but after I ate the food that my mother gave me, I started to feel like I'm becoming full and I can't focus on my work for the second session of study. Like when I wake up, I have my first session of study for around 1 hour. After that, I rest, meditate, and I start the second session again. But during the rest and meditate period, I always have my breakfast. My mom would call me and come down to have breakfast. And after I finish, I just can't muster up the strength. I couldn't resist the urge of laziness to watch television, to just chill out. And that's why I always miss out the second session of studying. A month ago, I started to pick up intermittent fasting. So basically, what's the concept of intermittent fasting? It's a routine or a schedule or a plan. Only allow yourself to consume beverage, ideally only water, for the next 3 to 4 hours after you're waking up. This plan sounds very, very cruel. It's very painful, especially if you have the habit of breakfast, your oatmeal, your cereal, everything that you like, your Dunkin' Donuts, your milk. It's very hard to resist the urge, but hear me out. What's the benefit of it? First, obviously, you're more focused. You can get into the flow of deep work way easier. You don't have that much of mental capacity. You don't have to use a lot of mental strength to actually force yourself to be in that flow. Like when you are full, you become lazy. That's why Asian students, when going to school, they have lunch. And most probably, it's rice. Rice, meat, vegetables, and eggs. After you eat, you're full. How are you supposed to concentrate on your studies? And in my opinion, the best benefit for intermittent fasting is your skin looks way better than if you keep on consuming meals every single day. Like for example, for bodybuilder, like I'm the person who go to gym. Like if I'm having a meal 5 times a day, my metabolism will go down. My body just keep on functioning and there's never a time that those organs can rest. You keep on stuffing food inside your mouth, of course your skin's gonna be bad. There's a lot of carbs in it, a lot of fat, and a lot of protein. How your body's supposed to process 24 hours a day. Like, just as a proof, look at this. My skin will look way better than how I was, I think probably 2 years ago in the COVID lockdown. My skin is horrible because I keep on eating, no exercise, and I didn't know the habits of intermittent fasting. Skin look way better. Okay, let me show you this. Look at this shit. What is this? Like, at the time my acne was very bad, I bought this salicylic acid cleanser. It's probably cost me around 35 bucks. In Malaysia, it's around 150 ringgit just for this one little piece of shit. After I bought it, I used it on my face, no help at all. Don't plan on buying it. Instead, just go with intermittent fasting. Like once you do it, you feel way shredded. You lose weight more easily. Of course, a bit of muscle is normal, right? And you feel more sharp. You feel more alert. The works you do, you feel more fulfilled. After you finish the work, when you go to eat, you feel more fulfilled. You feel way happier, and the whole emotion, you just feel your state is getting better and better when you're doing intermittent fasting. So give it a try. Intermittent fasting, 3 to 5 hours prior when you're waking up. Like what if you're a student? Like someone will always ask me, hey Ivan, if you're a student living with your parents, your mother's probably the one who control when you're gonna eat, what you're gonna eat, what are you gonna do. So my experience, my mother could cook good food. So I'm very, very lucky that my mother's cook good food, right? But for some, when they're packing like takeaway food, oily food, like junk food, what are they supposed to do? My advice is that you just have to ignore the breakfast. As harsh as it sounds, you have to ignore the food that your mom bought for you. If it's oily, if in your mind you know that it's not good for you, you should probably stop it as soon as possible. Ignore the breakfast. Instead, work on yourself first. You can maybe tell your mother the reason behind it. If they don't allow it, you just have to eat less. If really that's the only option you can do. Just remember this rule of thumb. Once you wake up, use the method of eat the frog first. Just do the hardest thing that you have in mind. The best thing that's gonna progress your goals to make you a better person. What's the hardest thing? Because most probably, the hardest thing to do for me is record video to writing a script or even studying. So in these two, I make a choice. I study at the morning, I make videos at the afternoon. It's way better for me. I'm more productive. I'm able to do the things I love. You have to do the hardest thing, which contribute the most towards your goals as early as possible without eating breakfast. That's the key point. You have to do this thing without eating breakfast. It's gonna take you around a week to actually start to adapting this kind of situation, but it's very worth it. You feel healthier, you feel better. So what are you gonna eat? Like when you take part on this diet, what are you gonna eat to maintain your appetite, to maintain your muscles? Cut off those useless carbs. Now you heard me. Cut off those useless carbs. Now what do I mean by useless carb? Bullshit carbs. Your bread. As much as I love bread, it has no nutritional value. What else? Rice. Oh, for Asian, like rice is the most important thing in our life. Without rice, it's like Italian without spaghetti. Like it will die. But you have to cut it down. Rice, you have to cut it down. Doesn't provide any nutrition value. You feel full, you feel sleepy, you feel lazy. Cut out this. What's the best carbs in my opinion? Sweet potatoes, and oatmeal. Just these three. Revolve around these three food and it will be settled for any carbs related food. If you're having pre-workout before you're heading to gym, of course eat carbs. It provides energy for you. It's really good, and supposedly you can eat rice before you work out. But if you wanted to maximize your productivity, avoid that. Instead, go for potatoes. Roast potatoes, anything related to potatoes is the best. It's light, it's affordable, it's cheap, easy to make. Keep that in mind and just try out intermittent fasting and let me know. Do the hard work, especially when you feel like it. Mwah.